Long ago in the year 2231, something happened that would change the future of humanity forever. Earth was not just a blue planet with cities, oceans, and people anymore. It had become a voice among thousands of worlds, part of a huge group of civilizations called the Galactic Council. This council was made up of the most advanced alien races in the universe, who worked together to keep peace, balance, and order across the stars. At first, humans were proud to be part of this galactic family. They had worked hard to earn a place among the stars. Scientists had built space stations, colonies had grown on the Moon and Mars, and Earth had even traded with alien races. But things were never truly peaceful. Over the years, the Council began watching Earth more closely. There were rumors that human companies were stealing alien tech. Some Earth governments had secretly sent soldiers into forbidden zones. Hackers from Earth had broken into Council communication networks. Most of all, humans were always fighting each other. Even with space travel, they couldn't stop wars, couldn't stop greed. One day, the Council made a decision. A group of leaders from different alien races gathered in the Hall of Stars, a giant glowing structure floating above a gas giant called Nurith. Each leader had a vote. The Alari, who could read minds, were disturbed by human thoughts. The cold-blooded, Koran believed humans were too emotional to be trusted. The insect-like Valari, who spoke in pulses of light, had seen Earth's pollution damage nearby planets. One after another, they raised their hands, or tentacles, or wings. Earth was to be exiled. That same day, Earth's ambassador, Reyna, Valos, stood in the center of the council chamber. She was calm, with silver-streaked hair and eyes that had looked into space her whole life. She didn't shout. She didn't beg. She spoke with strength. "Humanity is flawed," she said, "but we are growing. Please, don't take away the stars. Let us prove we can do better." But the decision had already been made. The punishment was called total banishment. That meant no more contact with any alien species. No more trading. No more traveling beyond the solar system. And worst of all, a shield would be built around Earth's solar system. A massive wormhole barrier that no ship could pass. Earth, Mars, and all the moons would be trapped inside it, not destroyed, not harmed, just locked away, like a child being grounded for misbehaving. Forever. The Council didn't even give Earth time to respond. Within days, the barrier was built. Earth's space satellites blinked out. Communication signals were blocked. Even colonies on Pluto and deep space outposts were sealed off. When people tried to escape, their ships vanished into the wormhole, wall, never returning. People on Earth panicked. News channels screamed, "Earth cut off." Alien Council betrays humanity. Governments began blaming each other. Some said the Americans had caused it. Others blamed China, Russia, or the IUA, global corporations. Cities fell into chaos. Food prices rose. Technology stopped working without alien parts. Protests became riots. The United Nations fell apart. Even Mars, which had its own colonies by then, suffered. Supplies from the Council stopped arriving. People living there had relied on alien machines to grow food and recycle air. Without those, thousands died in the first year. But not everyone gave up. In the dark corners of Earth, underground labs, secret bunkers, and hidden stations on the Moon, something new was being born. A quiet, powerful force began to grow. It started with a few people, scientists, former generals, engineers, and thinkers. People who refused to accept exile. They called themselves the Iron Mind Initiative. They were not interested in begging for forgiveness. They didn't want to reopen Earth's place in the Council by asking politely. They wanted to return stronger, smarter, more prepared than any species in the galaxy. One of the leaders was General Cade Oren. He had once been the commander of Earth's largest space fleet, but after the banishment, he disappeared. Some said he went mad, but in truth, he went to work. Deep under Antarctica, he and his team built a hidden base powered by geothermal energy and old alien tech. There, he began training a new kind of soldier, one that could survive without oxygen for days, one that could think like an AI but feel like a human. Alongside him was Dr. Sarah Lang. a biogeneticist who had once worked with the Council on planetary healing. After the exile, she changed. She believed the Council was afraid of humanity's potential, so she began creating a new generation of humans, smarter, faster, resistant to disease and aging, children who could live on Mars without suits, adults who could learn 5 languages in a week. But it wasn't just about war or survival. These people wanted to build something bigger than Earth. They called it Soulcore, a new civilization centered not on countries or old ideas, but on pure advancement. No more politics, no more greed, just progress. The Paragon Grid was created, a massive AI network that linked every part of Soulcore. It helped plan cities on the Moon, coordinated labs on Mars, and even chose which babies were born with which traits. Life became organized, efficient, and cold. As decades passed, humanity changed. The people who had once relied on alien help became masters of their own future. They developed fusion drives that could bend space. They built cities inside asteroids. Children were born already understanding how to pilot starships. The Earth that had once been divided was now united. Not under one flag, but under one mission. And while the rest of the galaxy forgot about them, thinking of them as lost, broken, or irrelevant, humanity waited. Then one night in the year 2281, a strange thing happened. The barrier that had surrounded the solar system for 50 years cracked. It didn't break from outside, it was destroyed from within. No one on the Council saw it coming. No warning. No attack. Just silence. And then darkness. But this darkness was not empty. It was filled with something massive, quiet, and powerful. It was time. Humanity was no longer the same. The ones who had been banished were returning, but they weren't coming back as the weak, foolish race that had been judged. They were coming as something else, something new, something the galaxy would never forget. After humanity was banished and trapped inside their solar system, the years that followed were some of the hardest in Earth's history. These 50 years, known later as the Black Decades, were a time of darkness, struggle, and survival. The entire planet, along with the colonies on Mars and the Moon, was cut off from the rest of the galaxy. No one could come in or out. The once bright hope of reaching the stars seemed to fade into a distant memory. Life became difficult. Earth's governments, already weakened by fighting and corruption, collapsed under the pressure. People fought over food, water, and technology. The cities that once buzzed with energy were now filled with fear and suspicion. Old allies turned against each other. Some tried to escape by launching ships toward the barrier, but every attempt ended in disaster as their ships were destroyed or vanished at the wormhole wall. The economy shattered. Trade stopped completely. Earth was no longer part of any galactic network. Without imports of alien technology and materials, many of Earth's systems failed. Power grids collapsed, communication systems went dark, and medical supplies ran dangerously low. The colonies on Mars and the Moon were especially vulnerable. They depended heavily on supplies and advanced technology from the Galactic Council and other planets. Without them, life support systems started breaking down, leading to countless deaths. But amid this chaos, something unexpected happened. A secret group of humans refused to accept defeat. While the rest of the world struggled to survive day by day, this group was busy planning for the future. They were scientists, engineers, military leaders, and thinkers who believed that humanity could not just survive but come back stronger than ever. They called themselves the Iron Mind Initiative. It was a name that showed their determination. They believed that the only way to survive the exile was to become something new. They could not rely on the old ways of doing things. They needed new technology, new ideas, and new ways of thinking. The initiative operated mostly in secret. They built hidden bases underground and on the Moon, away from prying eyes. They gathered the best minds from around Earth and the colonies. Some were former soldiers who knew how to fight in space. Others were scientists who specialized in artificial intelligence, genetic engineering, and quantum computing. One of the most important leaders of the initiative was General Cade Oren. Before the exile, he was a famous commander of Earth's space fleet. He was known for his courage and intelligence. After the banishment, he disappeared from public view. Many believed he had given up. But in truth, Cade was working harder than ever. He helped build secret military bases and began training a new kind of soldier. These soldiers were not like the old human fighters. They were stronger, faster, and trained to survive in the harsh environment of space and alien planets. Alongside Cade was Dr. Sarah Lang, a brilliant scientist who specialized in biology and artificial intelligence. She believed that the future of humanity lay in changing the human body itself. Using advanced genetic techniques, she began creating humans who could live longer, heal faster, and survive in places where normal humans could not. Her experiments were controversial, but many saw them as necessary. In her eyes, this was the only way humanity could ever hope to return to the stars. Together, Cade and Sarah worked on a vision called Solcor. It was not just a project or a plan. It was the start of a whole new civilization. Solcor would be built on the best qualities of humans, combined with the most advanced technology. It would be a society focused on survival, strength, and intelligence. Old ideas like countries and politics were set aside. Instead, Solcor was about working together to build the future. One of the key achievements of the Iron Mind Initiative was the creation of the Paragon Grid. This was a vast artificial intelligence network that connected every part of Solcor. It helped run cities, manage resources, and even make decisions about what was best for the people. The grid was designed to be perfect and fair, free from human emotions like greed or fear that had caused so much trouble before. Meanwhile, the colonies on Mars were slowly recolonized and rebuilt. The people there were trained to be warriors, and scientists, prepared to defend humanity if needed. They learned how to survive with little water and low oxygen. They mastered new weapons that used nanotechnology, tiny machines that could fix machines or even fight invisible enemies. The work wasn't easy. There were many failures and losses. Some experiments went wrong. Some soldiers never returned from training missions. But the Iron Mind Initiative kept going. Their determination never faltered. Slowly, the humans who had been banished were no longer the same people who had been judged by the Galactic Council. They had changed, adapted, and evolved. They were faster thinkers, stronger fighters, and smarter builders. All this happened in silence. The Galactic Council no longer paid attention to Earth. They had forgotten about the humans they had banished. To the Council, humanity was a lost cause, a primitive species doomed to rot inside their solar system. But humanity was waiting, and when the time was right, they would return. Then one day, something incredible happened. The barrier that had trapped Earth for 50 years suddenly broke. It didn't just crack or weaken, it shattered from the inside. The Council watched in shock and fear as the invisible wall disappeared without a single warning. This was not an accident. It was a message. Humanity was ready to come back. And they would not come back asking for permission. They would come back as a new empire, stronger and more powerful than anyone could imagine. After the barrier that had trapped humanity inside the solar system shattered, no one in the galaxy quite knew what to expect. For 50 years, the Galactic Council had believed Earth was lost, a broken, powerless planet left to fade quietly behind the wall. But suddenly, the silence was broken. Something huge and unexpected appeared near the outer borders of the Council's territories, and it changed everything. The object was unlike anything anyone had seen before. It was enormous, larger than many small moons, and had a strange, dark color that absorbed light instead of reflecting it. It didn't move like normal spaceships either. It glided silently through space, almost as if it was alive. Scientists called it Soul Cradle. It was a massive flagship built by humans, but not like any old spaceship. Soul Cradle was made from moon rock fused with metal grown by artificial intelligence. It was a mix of technology and biology, something new and mysterious. No diplomats or ambassadors came aboard Soul Cradle to talk or negotiate. Instead, a single message was broadcast across the galaxy, clear and loud for every species to hear. We remember, we forgive, but we will not ask. This message shocked everyone. It was calm but firm. It showed that humanity had not forgotten the years of exile or the pain caused by the Council's decision. But it also said they were not here to beg or plead. They were returning on their own terms, proud and powerful. The Council quickly tried to respond by sending fleets of ships to intercept this unknown force. However, those fleets never came back the way they left. Some returned silent, their crews unable to communicate. Others came back flying the human flag, having switched sides. The Paragon Grid, the vast AI network created by the humans, had found a way to enter the galactic communication systems and networks. It started to reprogram defense drones, turning them from tools of the Council into protectors of the humans' new empire, called the Terran Accord. Within weeks, entire star systems near the border surrendered without firing a single shot. This was not a typical war fought with explosions and destruction. Instead, it was a silent conquest, quietly taking control of technology, systems, and alliances. General Cade Oren, now no longer fully human but enhanced with cybernetic parts, spoke to the galaxy in a broadcast that echoed through every communication channel. His voice was strong but calm. He said, "We are not who you exiled. We are what your exile made us. Your galactic order feared us then. You should fear us now." This simple message sent waves of fear and awe throughout the galaxy. Many who had known humanity before felt a strange mix of fear and respect. Some aliens, especially those who had long suffered under the Council's strict rules, saw the Terran Accord as liberators. Species like the Tarn, who had been enslaved for centuries, and small trader groups welcomed humans as a chance for change and freedom. The Terran Accord didn't conquer with bombs or invasions. Instead, it offered better governance, efficient systems, and order. Where the Council was seen as slow, corrupt, and old-fashioned, humans brought a new way to manage planets and systems, one based on advanced AI, strict justice, and merit. Yet, not everyone in the galaxy accepted the Terran Accord. Some powerful alien races started to prepare for war. The Council, once confident that Earth was no threat, now faced an enemy that was not only strong but smarter, faster, and more united than ever before. The return of humanity was not just about regaining lost status. It was about changing the entire power balance in the galaxy. As the Terran Accord grew, humans expanded their influence carefully. They didn't destroy worlds unnecessarily. Instead, they focused on taking control of key systems that could support their growing empire. They rebuilt old trade routes, restored broken economies, and offered protection to smaller species who felt ignored by the Council. This new empire had a unique blend of human passion and machine logic. Decisions were made quickly, and mistakes were fixed before they could cause damage. The Paragon Grid AI helped run the empire smoothly, handling everything from transportation to security. At the heart of the Terran Accord was a belief that the old ways of the Galactic Council were outdated. Instead of relying on tradition and politics, the Accord focused on progress, justice, and strength. They believed in meritocracy, where the best ideas and the strongest leaders earned their place. However, not all humans agreed with this vision. Some within the Accord wanted to use their new power to completely destroy the Council and take total control of the galaxy. This group, led by Commander Alric Dane, believed peace was weakness and that the galaxy needed to be ruled with an iron fist. General Cade Oren and Dr. Sarah Lang, who had worked so hard to build this new civilization, found themselves facing a new threat, not only from outside but from within. They had to keep the Accord united and prevent it from turning into the very thing they had fought against. The galaxy watched, filled with tension and uncertainty. The once banished humans had returned, stronger and more powerful than ever, but their true intentions were still unclear. Would they bring peace and progress or war and domination? This was the beginning of a new chapter in the galaxy's history, one where humanity was no longer the forgotten species, but a force that could not be ignored. The return of humanity as the Terran Accord sent shockwaves throughout the galaxy. But the story didn't end with just their rise to power. In fact, that was only the beginning of a complex and thrilling new era. Behind the impressive surface of advanced technology and rapid conquest, there were deep challenges, conflicts, and choices that would shape the future for everyone. After breaking through the barrier and announcing their presence, the humans quickly expanded. But expansion was not simple. The galaxy was filled with many different species, each with their own history, culture, and feelings about humans. Some species welcomed the Terran Accord, hoping for change and freedom from the rigid control of the Galactic Council. Others viewed humanity as dangerous and unpredictable, the very same humans who had been banished for recklessness and war. The Terran Accord faced their first big test when they encountered the Xylar Collective, a powerful and mysterious alien race known for their incredible technological skills and warlike nature. The Xylar controlled several star systems near the border, and they didn't want to share or surrender their power. When the Terran Accord's forces moved closer, the Xylar launched a fierce attack, but the humans were ready. The training and technology developed during the exile made them unmatched in battle. Their ships moved faster, their weapons more precise, and their soldiers more determined. The fight was intense, but the Xylar could not defeat the humans. Instead of destroying the Xylar worlds, the Terran Accord offered an unusual deal. Join the Accord peacefully, share technology and knowledge, and protect each other from common enemies. Some of the Xylar leaders were suspicious, but others saw the wisdom in this new alliance. They realized the Council's power was weakening and humanity's strength was growing. After tense negotiations, a faction of the Xylar joined the Terran Accord, bringing their advanced tech and fierce warriors to the human cause. This victory showed the galaxy that the Terran Accord was not just a military power, it was a political and diplomatic force. Their combination of strength and offers of alliance made many species rethink their loyalties. Meanwhile, inside the Terran Accord, the leaders faced a delicate balance. General Cade Oren and Dr. Sarah Lang worked to keep the new empire united. But Commander Alric Dane and his followers believed in a much harsher rule. They argued that the only way to survive in the galaxy was through absolute control, no compromises. Their ideas attracted some soldiers and politicians hungry for power and revenge against the Galactic Council. This internal conflict created tension. Cade and Sarah knew that if Dane's group took over, the Terran Accord could become a dictatorship, a dark empire that would repeat the mistakes of the past. So they worked quietly to stop them, trying to keep the Accord focused on progress, justice, and cooperation. During this time, the Terran Accord also faced the challenge of rebuilding trust within humanity itself. Many people remembered the terrible wars on Earth and feared that this new power might bring destruction. The leaders had to show that the Accord was different, that it was about protecting humanity and creating a better future. They focused on developing new technologies to improve life on Earth and the colonies. Cities were rebuilt with clean energy, pollution was reduced, and diseases that had plagued humanity were nearly eliminated thanks to genetic advances. Education became a top priority, training the next generation of leaders, scientists, and diplomats. One of the most exciting developments was the creation of the neural link, a technology that allowed humans and AI to communicate directly through thought. This breakthrough helped the Paragon grid become even smarter and more efficient. It also raised questions about the relationship between humans and machines. Some feared that relying too much on AI could make humans lose their independence, while others saw it as the next step in evolution. As the Terran Accord grew stronger, the Galactic Council struggled to respond. Many of its member species were divided. Some wanted to fight the humans to keep the old order, while others saw that change was inevitable and wanted to negotiate peace. The Council's slow decisions and political infighting made it weaker and less respected. In the shadows, secret plots and spy networks operated. Both the Terran Accord and the Council tried to gather information and sabotage each other's plans. These covert battles were dangerous and uncertain, with trust in short supply. Despite these dangers, the Terran Accord also reached out to smaller species who had been forgotten or oppressed by the Council. They offered protection and a chance to be part of something new. This gained them many allies who were tired of the old system and eager for change. As the galaxy stood on the edge of a new era, the choices made by humanity would decide not only their own future, but the fate of countless worlds. Would they lead with wisdom and fairness, creating a united galaxy? Or would they fall into old patterns of power and conquest, bringing war and suffering? The future was unknown. But one thing was clear. The humans who had been banished were no longer weak or helpless. They had returned as a powerful empire ready to shape the stars. The final part of the story brings the thrilling conclusion to humanity's return as a mighty empire. After years of rebuilding, fighting, and diplomacy, the Terran Accord stood at the center of the galaxy's attention. No longer the outcast species, but a powerful force shaping the future. Yet with great power came great challenges, both from outside and within. As the Terran Accord expanded its influence, the old Galactic Council tried desperately to hold on to its fading authority. Many of the Council's strongest members banded together to form a resistance against the humans. They feared that the rise of the Terran Accord meant the end of their way of life, their traditions, their control, and their power. The Council began secretly planning a massive attack to crush the human empire once and for all. However, the humans had grown wiser. They had learned from their exile not only how to fight, but how to prepare. General Cade Oren, now fully embracing his role as leader of the Terran Accord, organized an alliance of humans and their new alien allies. They shared intelligence, technology, and strategies, forming a united front that was both strong and flexible. At the heart of this alliance was a deep belief in progress and justice. The Terran Accord wanted peace, but they would not back down when threatened. Their forces, enhanced by advanced technology and powered by the Paragon Grid AI, were ready for any conflict. The war that followed was unlike any before. It was fought, not only in space battles but also in cyber wars, political battles, and the hearts and minds of countless planets. The Galactic Council's forces launched surprise attacks and used propaganda to turn some species against the humans. In response, the Terran Accord used their neural link technology to quickly spread the truth and coordinate defenses. One of the most important battles happened near a star system called Vetra Prime. The Council's fleet tried to blockade the Bo system, cutting off supplies and reinforcements. But the Terran Accord's forces, using new stealth ships and powerful AI-controlled drones, broke through the blockade and saved the system's inhabitants. This victory was a turning point. It showed the galaxy that humanity's empire was not just about conquest. It was about protection and unity. More species joined the Terran Accord, hoping for stability and a better future. Inside the Terran Accord, however, the fight between different visions of humanity's future continued. Commander Alric Dane and his followers grew bolder, pushing for a harsher rule and aggressive expansion. They believed that the only way to survive was by dominating and controlling every corner of the galaxy. General Cade Oren and Dr. Sarah Lang knew that this path would lead to destruction. They worked tirelessly to keep the Accord united and focused on their original goals, building a fair and advanced civilization. Their leadership inspired many to resist the darker forces within. In the end, the choice of humanity's future was put to a vote among the leaders of the Terran Accord. The decision was close, but Cade and Sarah's vision won. They promised to continue advancing technology, protecting freedom, and building alliances. With the Accord's unity restored, the final battle against the Galactic Council began. It was a massive conflict involving fleets from dozens of star systems. The fighting was fierce, with heavy losses on both sides, but humanity's strength and determination prevailed. The Galactic Council was defeated, and many of its leaders were captured or fled. The old order was broken. In the aftermath, the Terran Accord did not become a ruthless empire. Instead, it focused on rebuilding and creating a new galactic system, based on cooperation and fairness. The Paragon Grid helped manage resources and mediate disputes. Smaller species had a voice and protection under the Accord's laws. Earth and the colonies flourished. Pollution was cleaned, cities rebuilt, and new generations grew up with hope and opportunity. The neural link technology allowed humans and machines to work together like never before, opening new possibilities for exploration and creativity. The story of humanity's exile and return became a powerful lesson for the galaxy. It showed that even when a people are pushed to the edge, they can rise stronger if they unite and believe in progress. The humans who were once banished became leaders, not by force alone but by vision and cooperation. They didn't just take their place among the stars. They helped create a future where all species could thrive. And as the stars shone brightly over the new Terran Accord, the galaxy looked forward to an era of peace, discovery, and endless possibilities. Would you like me to help with a summary or explore any part in more detail?